Ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests, the issue of Baloch did not begin recently. It's not sudden, it's not accidental. It is the result of long history. A history that began at the very foundation of Pakistan. In 1948, an agreement was made between Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the leadership of the Baloch. The understanding was clear. Baloch would retain autonomy with only three subjects handed over to Pakistan: foreign affairs, defense, and currency. But that understanding did not last. Within months, the Khan of Kallat was arrested. For the many, that moment was not just political. It was the first breach of trust, and when the first breach agreement is not upheld, it shapes everything that comes after. Yet, even then, the Baloch people did not reject the state. They choose to engage, they choose democracy. Through the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, Baloch leadership and the political movement tried to work within the system. They contested election, they formed government, they raised their demands constitutionally. But what followed? In 1973, the elected provincial government was dismissed. The National Awami Party was banned. A military operation was launched in Baloch. The leaders were imprisoned. Political space was closed. Still, the door to the democracy was not shut by the people. Even in 1980s, 1990s, and 2000, Baloch nationalist parties continued to participate in the election. This is important to understand. They did not believe in violence. They believed in the system. They believed that change could come through ballot, not bullets. But again and again, they were met with the same reality: allegation of rigging. Weak provincial autonomy, despite the 18th Amendment of Pakistan Constitution, limited control over their own resources, and most importantly, a lack of real representation at the center. Because in Pakistan, political structure numbers matter, votes matter. And Baloch, despite being the largest province by land, has the smallest population, which means fewer seats, less influence, less importance in national politics. Major political parties focus where power lies, and power lies in numbers. Cities like Karachi and Lahore decide governments. Baloch does not. So its issues are easier to ignore. Its people easier to overlook. This is where deprivation began to take root. Economic deprivation. Despite vast natural resources, local communities see little benefits. Political deprivation, where decisions are made without meaningful input from those affected. And social deprivation, where generations grow up feeling disconnected from the state. And then comes the most painful layer: enforced disappearances. For years, families have searched for their loved ones. Mothers have waited, not for days, not for months, but for years. Students, activities, ordinary peoples, gone. And in many cases, no answer. Ask yourself, what does this do to a society? What does this do to a young person growing up in that environment? A young person who sees their elderly try politics and fail, who sees families protest peacefully and get ignored, who sees that no matter how many times they choose the democratic path, nothing changes. This is where disillusionment begins. This is why the youth start losing faith in politics, not because they are born against the system, but because the system over time stops responding to them. And when an entire generation begins to feel unheard, it becomes dangerous. Because then the question is no longer, why are some choosing different paths? The real question becomes, how many breaches of trust does it take for people to feel they have no other option? Let's be clear. The vast majority of Baloch people do not believe in violence. They do not want conflict. They have tried repeatedly to be part of the system. But when trust is broken again and again, when democratic participation leads to a neglect instead of inclusion, when voices are raised but never heard, then frustration finds another outlet, not out of desire, but out of desperation. This is not a justification, it's a warning. Because no society remains stable when a large part of its population feels excluded, and no federation can be strong if one of its units feels unheard. The solution is not silence. The solution is not force. The solution is not restoring trust. Real representation, real inclusion, and real accountability. Because people of Baluchistan are not asking for anything extraordinary. They are asking for what every citizen deserves: a voice that matters, a vote that counts, and future where they are not invisible. And until that happens, this issue will not disappear, because it was never sudden. It was built over decades.